Castiglioncello used to be quite popular with movie stars in the 1950s and 60s.
Holy cow.
There are beach clubs scattered throughout the coast that range in services and prices. Castello Pasquini is a historic castle located in Castiglioncello. I'm going to start preparing his homemade broth, which is very simple, and I'll show you how I make it. Honestly, it felt like we were transported to another world. The renovation is currently on standstill, so we've been enjoying life as new parents in Italy. To stay in the loop and get notified when our online shop is live, sign up for our newsletter. We'll be selling special homewares we've sourced from all throughout Europe. Just go to casaardor.com and submit your email or click on the link in the top right corner. Rob and I decided to go exploring today nearby the villa to the next town over. I'm excited to get out and explore a little bit, see what's around in this town, and have a bite to eat. Castiglioncello used to be quite popular with movie stars in the 1950s and 60s. Today it's popular with both Italians and tourists since it has shops, restaurants, and is located right by the sea with many beach clubs. It has way more going on than our small town, but we like the quiet. We wanted to try out this bar restaurant in the center of town and enjoy lunch al fresco. They have a beautiful classic bar where you can grab pastries, desserts, and a quick coffee. We headed to the patio and we're ready to enjoy lunch.
Holy cow. Grazie. How's your frito looking?
Looks beautiful.
Pretty nice. And you got also a side of fries.
Double fried.
Double fried.
Bad idea, but it's Friday.
The center of town is really cute and lined with all sorts of shops. The town is pretty empty at the moment. Everyone seems to be at the beach.
Let's go look. We had to make a beeline to check out what properties they have available here. Let's see.
Some of the properties are for rent while others were for sale. Of the properties advertised in the window that were for sale, they range from 345,000 euros to 1.6 million euros, depending on whether it's a small apartment or a single standing villa.
This one's cute here. 100 meters from the beach, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 parking spots, 2 levels, independent entrance, 345.
Split villa.
Yeah. This one looks much newer.
Much smaller.
Yeah. We get asked a lot how much we paid for our villa, but that's just to kind of give you an idea of what pricing is for apartments here in this area. For some reason, they tend to be pretty expensive, especially if they have a sea view or if they're located right by the beach with beach access. So it's really pricey here. I would compare it to California prices.
You have to consider, we had several things working for us in our favor when we purchased the villa.
The property had been for sale for over 10 years. Not to mention, it needed to have a lot of work put into it from top to bottom, probably about 400 to 500,000 euros. And lastly, we purchased the property in 2022, when the dollar was worth slightly more than the euro. Needless to say, it's all about timing and making sure that you have the deposit ready to beat out any other potential buyers. I think people looked at us and questioned our sanity, given the sheer amount of time, money, and work needed to take on this project. But we knew buying a worthwhile property in Italy was never going to be quick and easy. Now back to Castiglioncello. We headed over to get a quick view of the beach. There are beach clubs scattered throughout the coast that range in services and prices. Italians typically rent out a spot at a beach club for the summer season. You usually get an umbrella, a couple of lounge beds, and have access to the bathrooms, changing rooms, and the restaurant, which is extra. But you can find public spots here and there to bring your own things to enjoy a day at the beach. No day in town would be complete without some gelato. After devouring my gelato, as it quickly melted, we started making our way over to the park. Castello Pasquini. Castello Pasquini is a historic castle located in Castiglioncello with a large park surrounding it. It was built in the late 19th century as a private residence. The castle is an eclectic mix of architectural styles. It's changed hands with various owners, and today it's a cultural hub, hosting different cultural events.
We've been wanting to come here and take a walk and explore since the past year, to just have like a little, discovery day, see the local sights and enjoy the park. And it's actually really cool here. You feel protected from the sun because of all the trees, and it's gorgeous here.
The many statues throughout the park is actually an exhibition by Franco Muro Franchi, an artist who was born in Castiglioncello. The umbrella pine trees are one of my favorite kinds of trees. We're lucky enough to have a few mature ones in our garden. What a beautiful afternoon enjoying the Tuscan coast.
Good morning, everyone. Robbie and I are here because we're gonna start meal prepping for him. He is going to be 5 months in 4 days, which is kind of really hard for me to believe, but he's been growing and developing so much. This week we went to the pediatrician so that he could have a vaccine, and for him to have a general checkup and to also get information on how to get him started on food. Here in Italy, they recommend that we make homemade vegetable broth to include with like any cereal or grain that you're introducing them to. Eventually we'll start to introduce him to more foods, but they say every 2 to 3 days you stick with one thing. The other thing that was on the list that they told us he could also eat was papa al pomodoro, which is like bread with tomato. Everything's very typical Italian, typical Tuscan food. We're going to be introducing him to white meats. What they included in that list was chicken, rabbit, turkey, which I thought was very interesting because in the States, as adults, we hardly ever eat rabbit. It's not something that's very common, but here it is pretty normal. I'm not so sure that we're gonna be doing that anytime soon, but you know, it is on the list. I'm gonna start preparing his homemade broth, which is very simple, and I'll show you how I make it. And then we'll have a meal later. Luckily, we have lots of room in this kitchen, lots of counter space, and lots of places to put appliances, which is a godsend when you have a baby and you have lots of little appliances. I'm gonna be using our Instapot. You can either cook this for 2 hours on the stove, which is quite a bit of time, but I found that it's easier to do it in the pressure cooker, and it only needs to cook for 15 minutes, so it's not much at all. I'm gonna be adding things like zucchini. I have potatoes, I have carrot, celery, iceberg lettuce. The only other thing that I'm adding that isn't necessarily in the recipe is an onion. This can't have any salt, no seasoning, nothing added to it whatsoever, and I think an onion might help a little bit with the flavor and might make it taste a little bit better. I'm gonna use 2 liters of water to cook all of this down, and it should render out about 1 liter of water, so hopefully it will be nice and concentrated and flavorful. We'll see how it comes out. Hopefully he will eat it and won't have any issues. I got everything in there. Now I'm gonna add the 2 liters of water. I have my pot ready to go inside my Instapot. Turn it on. Hopefully in 15 minutes this will be ready and done. Then we can start storing it and putting it in the freezer so that I only have to do this once a week and not, you know, every few days. If I'm perfectly honest, it doesn't have that much flavor. Sorry, Robbie. I mean, it tastes like watery vegetables, so mission accomplished, vegetable broth, but I'm going to boil this down just a little bit because we'll see if I can get a little bit more flavor. By the way, it's Ferragosto today. That means like everybody in Italy is on vacation. It's a day where everybody's outside or goes to the mountains and does some hiking and is basically outside. And today it's thunderstormy, cloudy. It's barely 2 o'clock and I think everybody's inside heading for cover, but we're here. I'm doing his broth. I'm working. We're gonna feed him pretty soon. You can hear him. He woke up. Thunderstorms are not his favorite thing, I guess. Very much similar to Rooney, so I like to believe that a little bit of Rooney is in Robbie. All right, we're ready to pretty much eat, but this is what the doctor is recommending
according to Italian instructions. So they're saying we need to put on some Parmesan. So Robbie is going to have a little Parmesan and then a splash of olive oil. Stir it all up, please. So, your toes grab everything, don't they? All right, ready, baby? Are you ready? Ah, ah, good boy. Oh, it's yummy. Now my broth is completely done and cooled down. I'm gonna put it into these containers and call it a day. So here's my vegetable broth ready for the little one. And he's pretty upset right now, so I'm gonna go take care of him. Robbie's officially 5 months today, and we're going to a market over here that's nearby, not too far, like I'd say a 15-minute drive from the house. And Rob says hi. We'll just walk around and see what's at the market.
The market at Rosignano takes place every Monday. It's full of so many booths and sellers. No matter what you need, you can usually find it here. Be it beach towels, dishes, pajamas, bathing suits, shoes, the list goes on. It's always buzzing with locals and tourists from all over. Rob made a break for the rotisserie truck. It's always the most popular. Some of the produce stands look raided by 11 a.m. You'll find vendors traveling from all over to sell at this market. We always like to buy things here and there from markets like this, rather than buying everything at the grocery store. Yes, it may be more convenient to shop at supermarkets, but it's always nice to try something new and support individual vendors. Our friend Giorgio kindly invited us out to dinner with an incredible sea view at his sister's wonderful restaurant. This area reminds us so much of the California coast. Before making our way to our table, Rob and I had an aperitivo in the patio area before dinner. Honestly, it felt like we were transported to another world.
And not bad.
Once Giorgio arrived, we headed to our table with an unbelievable view. We spent the evening enjoying incredible seafood, wine, and lots of laughs. What a fun night. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to follow us along this wild Italian journey.